because people get so invested in their point betting. It's so much fun.
Ooh, yeah.
But here we are, folks. Get those predictions in because it's our first map of the night here on Oxide. And this is our first player here in the bottom left. He is the Blue Terran, an absolute titan. It is time.
Repping Kaizi Gaming. And his opponent, the old dog, repping the ever so famous Chinese powerhouse team Invictus Gaming. In the top right, this is MacSed. Fun fact, I think it was the second last, maybe second or third last Premier tournament I played in MacSed eliminated me from, so I have my blood on his sword, and as a result I have even more respect for this old man. He is a very good player and has been for a very, very long time.
Yeah, wow, that is a fun fact. How long ago was that?
6.5 years? Thereabouts. Wow. Quite a while ago.
I'm actually surprised it was that long ago. I kind of expected you to say maybe like a year or two. I guess has been a while.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. Remember, we've got many years of probe dominating since then.
That's true. So. I guess it kind of feels like yesterday for me that I was still like casting pig games every top 8 and above. So pretty fresh in my memory, but yes.
One big blur, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we remember the old days of very dodgy land setups going till what, 2-3 a.m.
Oh yeah,
down here. So
yeah. Oh yeah,
living the high life now.
Conditions have gotten better, and I mean the players get to play from their own homes now, so no complaints about the that. Especially when we're doing the regions, there's no cross server play, which is nice. Looks like Time is going to try and skip the bunker this game. Okay, so gets away with skipping the bunker. It is a Marine into Reactor factory opening. And that's an interesting SCV. That looks like a proxy starport, but there is a probe right up there. Oh my lord, look at the anticipation.
Yeah. Oh, he was like, what are you talking about? I wasn't planning to put anything there. Don't even worry about it.
You know what's funny? He doesn't know MacSed's on a patrol path, so he's going to put it down anyway, and MacSed's going to see it. MacSed didn't even notice it the first time. He thought he got too clever. He's like, well, yeah, you've gone past. You didn't notice it. Let's put it right there. Starport gets spotted, gets cancelled. I told you MacSed can anticipate a lot of what Time might bring here, and what's kind of funny is that this is not what I anticipated from Time in Game 1 at all. Yet MacSed apparently has done his homework and says, no, I know the variations he has. And if I just put a probe over on that right side, I can completely shut down any sort of proxy Hellion drop.
You sure got that right. And I mean, while Time has sort of stuck to similar strategies recently, I think the key word you said there was variations, right? He's got a lot of variety in how he evolves these builds. And at one point we were casting him and no two games looked the same for Time. Maybe the opening was similar, but he always took it in a slightly different direction, you know, mixed it up just a little bit to keep it fresh, which is unbelievable, really, because we cast a lot of Time in China because he wins a lot. So to see him consistently find new ways to keep his build just a little bit new and cool so that his opponents don't get too used to it is really cool. Because a lot of the players, you know, they play their old faithful build like we saw MacSed do 4-gate blink every game. So yeah, really nice start for MacSed there.
Yeah, and is this 4-gate or 3-gate? This is 4-gate, right?
Yeah, I think it's 4.
Wall, so.
Yep.
So exact same opening. Really likes to get the control with this. My big criticism of this build order is that your third's really late. So I feel like if you do this build, you need to shut down their aggression really hard. So we're going to find out what happens. Widowmine comes in and oh, okay. Yep. That's a very hard shutdown. Was that an empty medevac?
I think it was. How cheeky.
But why?
You know what? Good question. It has served him well here, though, because at least he hasn't lost those mines. But how are they really going to get in the fight here? You might have to sort of pop them on the retreat path for those stalkers.
Yeah, so he must have thought it was Phoenix, right? And he was trying to bait into them. I don't know why, but Time must
Yeah,
have assumed this
actually.
was a Phoenix opening. That's the only way that makes sense to me. Just try to figure it out. Stalker pressure will come in. Ooh, and nice catch. Gets the Widow Mines on the way home as well. Oh, this is great. Only loses, I think, no Stalkers, maybe one at most, and gets a few units there. So fantastic trade for hit points and shields. And going to go into a very quick Templar Archives. Now, this is a cool variation from what MacSed showed yesterday. It looks to me like either a big just charge Archon all in or going straight into Storm. And I love the Storm option. We've seen it more recently and I want to keep seeing more and more of it. It's going to spot the third command center being very quick in the main for Time. And I think that's going to prompt MacSed to kind of continue to the next step.
Ooh, Liberator on the other side of the map, though, has popped out and is finding a few probe kills, maybe a little bit of lost mining time before he can deal with that as well. Looks like Time has been able to deal with that harassment in the main base likewise. Lost 4 SCVs, but not the end of the world. That said, though, Time has not had the cleanest start to this game. MacSed actually looks quite good.
He has, and yet Time is doing more things than MacSed. I feel like these skirmishes have gone quite okay for MacSed, but we do see a much delayed and belated third base. It's not even saturated yet, right? It's got 9 probes on it, but after the probe damage on his natural, he's got to replace that. So MacSed right now, only building 2 probes at a time. He really needs to keep the 3 probes going. He does fix that up there. He's going for Psystorm, but he's just not ahead in workers, and that's always a tough position against a Terran who's going to 3 base. Because Time has the luxury of chilling here. He's got double engineering bay, which tells us he's most likely going to add an armory and not massively commit to an attack until a little bit later in the game. Time is setting up for the long haul. MacSed, on the other hand, is cutting probes and seems to be anticipating a large attack incoming. He's making a ton of gateways, a lot of zealots. He should have High Templar gathering storm energy at his... yeah, probably inside the Warp Prism, I would imagine. He's got probably 4 High Templar in there. But this is becoming a kind of storm zealot bust all in. If we look at MacSed's economy, it's like, the longer this goes, Time is just mining more than you. He's adding more upgrades. He's adding so much infrastructure. And MacSed is kind of going, build a bunch of zealots, build a bunch of gateways. I'll add a handful of probes. So his economy's lagging behind. He's going to have a big army, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to take very efficient engagements.
We've seen this a little bit from MacSed, where he doesn't sort of commit super hard to one thing at a time. He likes a bit of column A, a bit of column B, so that he has something to fall back to in terms of economy if he decides he doesn't really want to commit here. Time actually moving up to try and find this Protoss army. He will have to back up here. That is a little bit too much for that squad to handle, but he's going to try and get some trades. Ooh, a Mortal coming in from the left-hand side there. Won't be able to close the distance. But a few more warp-ins coming in from MacSed now, and Time is well aware that MacSed is looking for a spot to attack, so he's repositioning a little bit more to this right-hand side as MacSed swings around.
Oh, he's going to go in for it there. The Widow Mines are nicely spread. Storm Drop comes in, but it gets focused down by the Marines. Does get a bunch of the High Templar out there. And he's warping in more and more zealots. It's a lot of units. The SCVs may have been pulled a little bit too late. This is actually doing so well. Another big Psystorm. He picks up into the medevac to try to hang on. Widow Mine's coming down here, but he has been dislodged from his third base. 24 SCVs going down. And this seems to have been the timing attack he was looking for. Mass Zealot Arc on Psystorm. The storms landed big, and the tanks are just not effective against this sort of army.
Oh, he's going to try and hold on here. He pulls SCVs for a second and then thinks better of it. These charge lots are going to go slice and dice some more anyway. Archon's moving up in the front lines, and the aggressive blink to take out these medevacs, and Time has fallen apart. GG, MacSed takes game number 1.
Ooh, all right. Yeah, I like it. I love a nice decisive attack. Good control with the Blink Stalkers. Shut down the empty medevac. Time maybe getting a little bit confused. That catches the starport even before that to set things up. I mean, this was a series of great plans coming together for MacSed. And we do see the weakness of that siege tank style. I remember when TY was the one who kind of ushered this in a year or two ago. Non-stop tanks, get a third command center, get double engineering bay. It's such a good macro style. It seems almost unkillable, but the Protoss player gets a few leads and then hits you with a big Zealot Archon Psystorm attack. Tanks don't have armored units to do a lot of damage against that. They're so much better versus like Sentry, Stalker, Colossus. They're just not as good versus these Zealot Archon units that are light.
Yes, it looked like a pretty nice position for Time. He had mines in place and everything, pretty deep tank line, but the storms just never ending. Big warp-ins on the front lines. Immortal's still alive for a long time as well, and he just ran out of steam there. Just not enough bio to do the DPS in front of those tanks at the end of the day. Mines, you know, once they go off, you gotta wait a little while for them to be useful again. So really nicely chosen build from MacSed. And I mean, even if he got cleaned up here, he's comfortable on 3 base. He could continue taking time at that point and lost an obscene amount of workers. So, well, what an awesome start for MacSed.
Indeed, a fantastic way to kick off the series. A lot of people were doubting if he'd even take a map in this one. Head-to-head, it looks kind of dismal, but hey, he's got the planning. That's a great way to kick it off. So I'm actually feeling really good about his chances now.
Absolutely. And guys, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, it'll be map number 2 between Time and MacSed. So don't go anywhere. Hey, welcome back. We have just kicked off our first series of the night, Time vs. MacSed. If you're just joining us, you've only missed one map, so don't sweat it, but it was a good one. MacSed actually coming out on top there, which is a little bit surprising for us Time fans. We know how good he is. And now the question is, can MacSed keep this up? Could it be possible for him to knock Time into the lower bracket? Food for thought.
Nice way to prompt us to start.
Oh, sounds like we might have lost Pig here for a second. Have we got you back?
And I'm back, I think.
Yeah, we got you back. All right. You were saying, Pig.
Nice way to get us to start dreaming, isn't it? The just dominating kind of finish there. And I love that sort of attack. If a Terran wants to adopt that very passive kind of early stance, just, oh, I'll do a 2 Widow Mine drop. In that case, he didn't even put the Widow Mines in the medevac. And then I'm just going to make tanks and take a 3rd double engineering bay. This is a sort of style which you do need to be able to kill them. And he showed he can. He says, no time, you're not getting off that easy. You're going to need to come out on the map, commit to attacks, and engage in that sort of back and forth. And that's where Terran can get into trouble sometimes due to their inflexible nature with their production. They can't shift, you know, like Zerg or Protoss as hard into economy and upgrades or army. They kind of need to commit their production in a certain direction a little bit earlier. Now he's going to have to make some more discerning decisions about what he goes for and what he's going to skip on. Up here in the top left-hand side, representing Kaiser Gaming, down a game in this best of 5. It is time.
And on the other side of the map, representing Invictus Gaming, this is MacSed.
Lightshade, of course, is Time's pick here, so a map where he's going to be a little bit more confident attacking across this map. And it's not one where we expect him, just because of the map, to go for the same sort of style. The style he played before made a bit more sense on Oxide, turtling up on a map with lots of choke points, very defensively oriented. Interesting that he took the 3rd base he did on that last map, because with his siege tank style, he actually would have had a much better time defending the other base with a wall in front of it. Where he chose to expand, it gives you an easier push path, but a little bit more, you know, risky. On this map, wherever you take your 3rd, it's out there. It's wide out in the open. And that's why Terrans here, they tend to play more of the biomine. Biomine, you know, just ghosts and medevacs and that sort of stuff. I also think that's, if you're favored, if you're very strong and confident mechanically, I think it's almost the best way to play. It's something some of the best TVP leaders in the world, Clem, Cure, these guys are kind of known for that. Just saying, look, if you go Colossus, it doesn't matter. I'll just have more Marines, Marauders, Ghosts, Mines, and I'll just drop them everywhere rather than fighting into force fields and laser beams that outrange me. I'll kind of be on the map and playing this kind of very flexible map control oriented style. I'll lack the siege units. I can't really force my way into a defended position, but I'm going to be able to control the map and kind of chip away at the Protoss and drop them to death. So I wouldn't be too surprised if Time goes in that direction rather than being so siege tank focused here.
Yeah, for sure. That's certainly a direction he's gone before. It's kind of that or the like sort of chunky 2-base pushes. You land at the Protoss 3rd, you know, do a bit of an attack just as they're getting that Colossus count up. You jump on top of them to wipe that out. We've seen a lot of that over the last couple of weeks covering these DreamHack groups. We'll soon see what happens here for Time. It looks like he went for the reactor once again and just heading into the 1-1-1.
It's going to be interesting to see the double Hellion production this time around. How much gets committed? We have seen a little bit more recently of people doing kind of the 1-basey openings where they're doing like, you know, Hellions run in the front as a Widow Mine drop comes in. But in this scenario, usually it's just going to be like, okay, 4 Hellions in this case. So the attempted 4 Hellion drop in the main is the most likely maneuver. And that can hit pretty quick, about 435 or so. That being said, MacSed, if he's playing 4-gate blink again, I mean, he's shown such safe openings. To me, I kind of feel like the perfect way to take advantage of this would be just get a Raven. Just do like a Raven kind of 3 barracks bio tank medevac push, right? You know, just go up to that. Basically, like, skip the early aggression because he's turtling up on 2 bases so well. Time, though, is going for it. He's looking for an angle. The Stalker in the wall, completely solid. And that medevac is boosting its way across the map. It's going to ferry these units into the main. Even though he's got a lot of gateways, of course, most of them aren't done just yet. So there's an argument that this is actually greedier than some of the 2 or 3 gate builds for a very narrow window of time before those Stalker warp-ins kick in. That being said, it is a very narrow window of time. Here we go. Hellions coming in. 2 Stalkers in the main, a Stalker and Adept in the natural. That might be it for now. And this is going to find some damage.
Not able to jump on top of this just as it's dropping, so these Hellions may get some kills here. No shield battery or anything, of course, so he's going to be trying to target down those workers, but the Stalkers have come to the rescue. He's going to try and drop a little bit further into the mineral line to rack up some more kills. This is actually not going too bad. Gets 8 probes and gets out with the medevac.
I think that's worth it for sure. When you've got a player who doesn't have a 3rd Nexus up or anything like that, that's totally okay. I don't think it's the massive damage you'd normally like for a Hellion opening because Hellions cost a lot. It's a lot of mineral investment that early. It slows down all of your production. You know, your 2nd and 3rd barracks are always a little delayed if you've gone for a bunch of Hellions early on. But saving the medevac, you got your 3 racks up. You can now start all of those upgrades. Time's going to be moving to the next step, and MacSed finds himself on only 39 workers. Moving across with a few Stalkers, but I don't really have hopes of this doing a lot of damage. He can maybe blink in the main and pick off a few SCVs, maybe get the depot in the corner, but no more than that, and Time is definitely in the lead on the economy.
Yep. Obs just peeks over the ledge there. Time may delete that a little bit later if he spots it, but obviously well aware that it is present because the Stalkers are here. Being a bit of an annoyance on the low ground, he's got a medevac and now a tank able to help him ward this away a little bit. So yeah, MacSed not going to be able to get in here, just being a bit of a bother as he takes his 3rd base. So this keeps Time off his back a little bit, and he's also continuing up the tech tree. We now see Charge on the way, and the Disruptor Den / Colossus Den coming in.
The Colossus Cave, I believe, Zeph. Use the correct terminology, please.
Excuse me. I stand corrected.
The Colossus Mound, I think, isn't that what Tasteless calls it or something? I've heard people use some interesting names over the years. I'm like, is this Warcraft 2? Is this an ogre mound? Like, what?
Looks like another drop has just been loaded up for Time, and he actually skirted that right around the edges of his base. So did MacSed see that, though? Because he's already heading in that direction. He must have actually popped past him.
Maybe not. Maybe he's just moving up there anticipating that sort of move.
Smart man.
Oh, this is a lot of units. I mean, he doesn't even have that much bio. This is kind of a crazy push for Time. I think he just realizes he might be catching MacSed being greedy. That being said, I mean, that's a lot of tanks to be exposed with so little bio covering it. This is one of these sort of pushes pay off in a big way. You go, yeah, surprised you, or you lose all your tanks and you're in a terrible position. Let's see which one it's going to be.
Oh, I think it's going to be the surprise option. The Colossus is here, but it doesn't have any friends, only sentries, and it gets taken out immediately. The tank's here on the low ground. He's going to start shelling away at that natural wall, and this drop will be dealt with. But he's still got this force on the front lines. Now, that's still not a big force pig. There's a lot of splash behind it.
And Charge is done as well. I mean, this is a chaotic choice. If these tanks go down, he's in huge trouble, and they will go down, Zev. This was a huge commitment. He's got more bio coming in. Maybe he can just roll over MacSed and capitalize. Remember, he did have the economy advantage from earlier, and having taken down that Colossus is so huge. The Colossus is the DPS. Without that, no shield battery on the natural. And the Robo, oh, I didn't even realize the Robo was depowered by that as well as the gateways. Well, that's it. The Robo getting depowered. The Artosis pylon at the front of the base powering 3 gateways and a Robo. Losing that, that's 2/3 of your production gone. And MacSed has to tap out.
Wow, that was a very sudden and violent end for MacSed there. A very risky move, as you pointed out, but it paid off. He chose well, and with that reinforcement, he had just enough to polish off the Protoss there.
Ooh. I mean, that was I wonder what prompted that push. I'm so surprised. He was going for a pretty quick 3rd command center, and it's kind of cool because sometimes you go, yeah, there's a weak point here. MacSed doesn't really probe nonstop, and he goes for like charge and lots of gateways really fast. So like, I think, I don't know if he didn't see the army move out, or I'm going to be studying this replay. I thought an observer was watching the front, so surely he saw the army coming, right?
Well, we might see the position of it. I have a feeling it was like a little bit closer towards the main, so perhaps he didn't actually see it move out. He went looking for that drop, but he completely missed the rest of this force.
Because if he just had a shield battery there at the natural, like, if he doesn't lose the Colossus, I think he's fine.
Yeah, that looks completely different if he has one shield battery to fall back to. But yeah, I mean, the stars aligned here. Clearly Time saw something that made him hit the go button and just stim to win from this point.
Sometimes a player just feels something, and I don't want to say it's wrong,
yeah,
but on paper, that push is wrong. You're not meant to do that. Like, you're just not. You're like, cool, I got like stim and shields and stuff. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, let's push with 3 Marauders and 12 Marines and 3 tanks. It's like those tanks are kind of been building up all game. You've just got your upgrades. You kind of need a few more units for all this investment to really like get stronger. But sometimes there is something to just being unpredictable in TVP. We've seen players like Zest recently, like him and Cure have this big rivalry. And I've noticed that like Zest was so good at being so greedy versus Cure in the last 6 months. The Cure started just doing nonsense attacks. Like he'd be like, well, stim and shields isn't even done, but I'm just going to like go across the map now because I know you're always being so greedy because you know when the optimal Terran push hits. And a lot of Protoss players will play like that, right? Where you can kind of see the way MacSed there is like 8 gateways, charge, Colossus, and you let him get that first Colossus, the extended thermal lance out, and around his zealots and stuff, and then suddenly he's ready. There's a shield battery on each base. It's much harder to find your way in. So maybe Time just saying, look, I've just sensed it. I think there might be this real narrow window. Let's just shove across. It's going to be super unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, maybe playing the player a little bit there too, because I mean, these guys probably hit each other on the ladder. I know Maxed's a ladder hero. He is like, I feel like anytime I load up someone's stream from our region, they're playing Maxed if they're on the same server at the time. So, you know, they don't meet a lot in competitive play, but you know, possibly just from hitting on ladder or watching how he usually plays, he's kind of figured out that the risk is worth it there. So let's see how we go here on Jagannatha for our third map. And in the bottom left, he is the blue Terran from Kaiser Gaming. This is Time.
Well, 12 years his senior and therefore knowing a lot more about the ravages of time. A literal grandpa in esports years, but just kidding. He is still one of the most just famous pro gamers in China. Great history to his career, and he's still absolutely got the cojones to go head to head. In the top right, it's Invictus Gaming MacSed.
And does Time just not really send an SCV out to scout? Is that not his thing?
I feel like Time is more of the school of the maybe 18 SCV scout some games, or I guess with the, in this case, that was after the barracks. That's even later.
Yeah.
It's like the latest scout of all time. This is the like, I guess I'll just get over there and check you have a Nexus scout.
he's totally unafraid, man. He's quite happy to go for the late scout. All right. Well, we'll see where he goes from here. No reactor or anything this time around, going straight into the factory here as he just rallies the odd Marine down here and takes that expansion. So I guess my question is, what is MacSed's tech going to be? Is he going to stick with this blink idea? This is kind of interesting because I feel like in last seasons we watched him play a lot of Phoenix Colossus, and perhaps that's what happened in game number 1, where we saw Time send the medevac in alone, leave the mines behind. He said maybe he was expecting Phoenix. I think if you look at MacSed's play historically, that actually does make a lot of sense, but he switched it up.
And I like that. I think if you're known for Phoenix play can be really good, but when a Terran player starts to expect it and gets comfortable against it, they get really tricky with not really giving you the easy kind of cleanups that you expect. Things like that you know, that Widow Mine bait and so on. Proxy Starport again. So it looks like a Hellion drop again, but this time it's going to hit even faster. And when I mean, I imagine he drops in the back of the natural. So it's a different angle. It's a slightly faster attack because the medevac will get there a little quicker. Does still see the factory on the reactor. Now, a shield battery would help so much against this, right? Because once you kill like a Hellion or two, bam, they're not one-shotting probes. The splash damage is always hitting different probes in the first place. Shield battery makes it a lot harder for that to work. On the other hand, if MacSed simply kind of realizes what angle it's coming from as well, that's also going to really help him out.
Yeah, it certainly will. And MacSed, in some cases, has been pretty thorough with scouting out on the map. Quite a little bit of time. In this case, he's actually just dropping a proxy pylon down here. But he hasn't really done a circuit. There's a lot of places you could hide a proxy on here too, which is kind of rough if you're trying to figure out whether or not it has...
Is that natural wall solid? I don't know if he's got a unit in there. Oh, I thought the Hellions were about to go in.
Quite.
But okay, he's got enough units that I guess he's okay. Oh, elevating into the natural. There's no vision over there.
Oh man, he's going to get the full unload. How many worker kills is he going to get? That is the question. The Stalker's waddled down to try and help this. Nice spread on those probes, yeah.
Yeah, that was a beautiful, beautiful spread. Medevac goes down. Still going to get a lot of probes though. 8, 9 go down. Blinker's not done yet as well. And Max said he's building a gateway on the other side of the map, but with all this damage going on, he is going to be desperate to get a counter swing in. Down to 27 workers versus the 32 SCVs. I wouldn't be too surprised to see MacSed cut probes entirely as he just spirals across this map. And I think he's going to look to smash the siege tank. So with this gateway here, I think the way MacSed wants to do this is blink forward and just click on the siege tank and then kind of shuffle backwards. If you can take one of the tanks out early, you're going to open up a big area of control where you can start just, you know, running in, doing lots of damage. And I think he skipped the robo entirely this game, right? So it's got to be a natural buster. He can't go in the main. He has to bust the natural.
Absolutely. The Stalker show right now. Another tank is just about to pop out, and Time, he's been in there, he's seen the tech, but does he know that this is what he's facing? He needs to get those SCVs at the ready for the tank, but it's too slow. He's going to have to jump in. Can he save the bunker? No, he can't. And now it's SCVs and Marines against Blink Stalkers.
Wow, the Marines. He's focus firing the Marines. Notice those Stalkers. He's splitting them into sections, and sections of them are taking down the Marines. Oh, that tank, though, Youchies, does do a lot of damage, but he's taken out most of the Marine firepower, and now he can kind of chill for a moment because he's got the natural evacuated. 3 depots and an eBay are on the low ground. Not to mention the command center is actually going to be burning in a moment, Zeph. If he gets the command center, that's just game over 100%.
Oh, we should be right. You can get the repair there, but yeah, still some stuff on the ground there that he'd like to keep. Oh my goodness, be careful with those tank shots, but he's fearless. That tank gets sniped immediedly. And now he's stuck trying to fight these Stalkers in the main with SCVs and the odd Marine. He actually just doesn't have anything left.
Yeah, there's nothing left. The Stalkers are going to be relentless. They go after the siege tank again, and even though it takes one out before it goes, Max said they're ever decisive and says, yeah, you may have done some damage to me, but guess what? Trading army for economy, not that effective when I'm already planning to all in you.
Yeah. Wow, dude. Max said that puts him on match point, folks. 2-1 up in the series. And we had a little chat before that game. We were like, oh, first one might be a little bit quick. We think Time might do a little bit of a bopping against MacSed. And the stats would seem to agree with us. But MacSed has other plans. I mean, he's looking good. Liz and probes early on, yeah, it sucks, but it doesn't matter when you're going to go in and absolutely slay your opponent.
I mean, this was a pretty good start, and it does come in. But you know what? What did I mentioned predictability at the start of the series. He keeps trying to do droppies, Hellion droppies off reacted factories, 2 games in a row now. And before that, I think the game 1 was the best strategy for playing against what MacSed's doing. MacSed is playing very 2-base focused blink openings. He's never rushing for the 3rd Nexus. And that tells you do have room to just squeeze in a quick 3rd command center build here. You know, you absolutely can just change up your opening. If a Protoss is playing this...
Might have just lost Pig here again for 1 second. Looks like you're back now, though. But, yeah, a little bit rough there for Time. And it would be super weird to see him drop down to the losers match here in the playoffs. But we can't count him out yet, of course. I mean, it's Time, guys. He's won this region so many times that I've actually lost count. So we'll see if he can make a comeback in map number 4. But this is so impressive from MacSed, and it seems like the ability to prepare here for the matches a little bit ahead of time might be making the difference as well. If this was all done in one day, maybe it would look a little different and time would be a little bit more like the boppin' monster that we usually see against MacSed. But we'll have to wait and see if time can make a recovery here. But first, we're going to go to a quick break, folks. When we come back, we'll see if time can stay alive. Don't go anywhere. Hello, welcome back. It is DreamHack Fall. We are in the playoffs for China, and Mr. MacSed is on match point against Time. We have a potential 2 more maps left in this series, but we gotta wait and see if we'll even get there, bro. MacSed came prepared tonight.
Ooh, yeah. He's coming out with the builds and he's doing really damn good. And at this point, it's kind of hard because it's so easy to just kind of get in your own head here in this matchup now when you're down 1-2, when you're the big favorite as Time, but there's a lot of pressure put on him. And I mean, I still think I would still vote or bet on him, I think, just because that finals from last season was a little bit of a comeback when he was on the edge of defeat for a long time in that series and just started racking up those wins. But it definitely doesn't look too great. And I wonder, do we go back to a very defensive opening, heading towards 3 command centers off a Widow Mine drop? What exactly is the choice? Because it's a big map. It's Romanticide, a very likely map for Widow Mine drops, for Hellion drops, for Stargate plays. But the Hellion drops haven't been going that amazingly for him, and we haven't actually seen Stargate yet from MacSed. So I really wonder if things are going to be repeating the same with slight differences for both players, or are we going to see completely fresh strats?
That is the question, and we will find out momentarily. But first, this gentleman in the top right in the blue trunks, he's from Kaizi Gaming, and he needs some energy here, folks, to stay in this. This is Time.
And of course, the map is 2,000 atmospheres because this is map 4, not map 5. We're not at Romanticide yet. I got excited, got a bit ahead of myself, but this is our favorite map in the pool. That's why we see so much of it on the bottom of the ocean floor, in the bottom left-hand side, in the red, Invictus Gaming, MacSed.
Definitely do like these ocean-themed maps. I think Abyssal was like the first proper one, right? And then this feels a little bit inspired by that.
Yeah, I think that was revolutionary. I mean, space sharks, bottom of the ocean. I do prefer the coral on that map. That map had a lot more like colorful coral and seashells and stuff, whereas this map is more like an infested undersea bed. Like there's like kind of just tentacles and it's all kind of purple and creeped up. It's almost like it's under the ocean creep spread.
That's actually a good way of putting it. The first one felt a little bit more like Finding Nemo, you know, a little bit more that vibe. But yeah, I think like Water Zerg would be a really cool skin set if they did that in future.
Yes. Oh my god. Speaking of which, sorry, we should talk about the game. 12 pylon Void Ray all in. No, it's not a 12 pylon. This is a later Void Ray all in. He's only putting it this 10 seconds delayed. So this is, I think, a normal 14 pylon. So that's really odd. This is an old school Stargate proxy. And the thing is, you can transition way better out of this one. MacSed's still building probes. He's already got the command center cancel. So I think for MacSed, I don't think he's going to go all in with this. I think he maybe goes to Tempest afterwards, but I think he might stop at just 2 Void Rays and build a Nexus. So MacSed may specifically be trying to get an overreaction out of Time, look for a medium amount of damage, and then just kind of back it off because he's keeping up probe production, and that is very, very rare with such a committed build order.
Reaper doing its best against this pylon, but Zealot is here to make that difficult. And the bunker's coming up. We got marine production, but this is always a little bit scary for the Terran.
Is that adapt?
Okay.
Get out of here, Reaper.
Chased out of there. But I mean, it's not right next to his base, and he's not seeing like tons of shield batteries come down immediately. So,
Nexus already. That's crazy, Zeph. That is such a fast Nexus. Yeah, this is it. This is such a mind game from MacSed. Because MacSed's saying, look, everyone's finally at this point of this stage of the meta. It's so common, the 12 pylon Void Ray Rush. It's so hard to stop. People are having to do these crazy hard responses to survive, but they've gotten good at shutting it down. So he says, well, that's fine. I'll just fake it. I'll make 1 Void Ray into a Phoenix, which I can use to try to pick up Cyclones and catch them, and then I can just use as a harassment unit, and I'm just going to play macro behind this. I'm surprised. Yeah, probes. I think we'll see a Twilight Council and like Charge or maybe even Glaives. This is super tricky play for MacSed, and he is just really tricking Time so far in this.
Yep. Void Ray in a bit of trouble against this Cyclone. Takes a fair bit of damage, but is chilling in the corner now, and he's gone straight into the Phoenix. Reaper has a very quick end to its life, but at least he sees what's coming next. And Yeah, get rid of those extra structures. Head straight into another axe instead.
He's going Magfield Cyclones, but there's a very quick 3-gate. What's interesting is MacSed's kind of not probing, and I keep pointing this out, but it's so intermittent for a build order that's meant to get you ahead economically. You'd think he'd be chrono boosting his probes, but I think he's anticipating a very hard counterattack, which tells me that he maybe doesn't notice the fact that there was a command center in the main. I feel like he should have seen that with his Void Ray. I'm pretty sure he went deep enough, and I think he saw that while it was building. He did.
Yeah, he saw.
And Time got an SCV scout across the map, or a Reaper, right? I'm pretty sure he's aware as well. Ooh, big fight though.
Oh, 2 Phoenix falling already. A Viking here to help out. And there's the lifts on the Cyclones, but there's a lot of Marines under that. Is there enough here from MacSed? The Viking is kiting backwards, and he's actually following Time on his retreat here. Oh, almost loses that last Phoenix.
It's really messy. This is the dream for MacSed. Is this fight happening is exactly what MacSed wanted. He was preparing for it with the quick 3 gates with the cut of probes, but that did not go the way he wanted. He lost all of his important tech units, and he didn't manage to kill the units of Time. The whole point was Time moving out there was meant to be a cocky move that gets punished, but he wasn't able to capitalize on it. MacSed's still in a good position, but he lost a lot of his air control. If you can keep those Phoenix alive and keep recycling them, that's where you can really get out of control. As it is, a couple Void Rays, couple Phoenix, couple of Gateway units. It seems okay, but the Twilight is mega delayed. MacSed is not got very good tech right now.
No, it's a bit of a mix and match of units here, and there's Viking already, more Vikings in production as well, so gonna be a little bit hard to gauge here. Just gotta get those Cyclones back up on the high ground to deal with this Void Ray. If he's not careful, he will lose that. That's 3 Cyclones. Yeah, down it goes.
A little bit overly ambitious there. The Void Ray is an absolute annihilator of Cyclones. So the problem with this Protoss army is only the Stalkers really can kill the Cyclones. If you kind of disable them, the Void Ray will just clean them up really quick. Now, MacSed's going for charge. He is taking a 3rd gas and moving out to take a 3rd base. So I think we'll probably see a bunch more Gateways and a Templar Archives after the 3rd. I think he's going to stay like Zealot Archon for a while. Hopefully, Time pushes into him a bit overly aggressively, jumps on the army, probably maybe skips a Forge all game, just plays like a hey, please attack into me style. You know, it's almost like a defensive all in, and it's really good because in this scenario the Terran is always very eager to get out there and actually see what's going on, and this Marine, it looks like, will spot the 3rd base, so that's fortunate for Time.
Gets that a little bit of information, and he's still just chilling at home at the moment, trying to deflect these Phoenixes. Shouldn't be too much longer before I feel like he can move down and actually finally get rid of that Stargate, which is kind of done producing anyway. Nice little harassment with the Viking there too, though. Gets 4 probes for his troubles, plus a bit of lost mining time.
Robo is going to be finishing up. A few more Gateways coming in. Still just tons of Zealots. Templar Archives does come down. Ooh, is that a unit? Yes, there is, but the Phoenix, they didn't quite see it. They will have to come back. So nice little bit of Viking harass. Gets a probe. Great pull actually by MacSed. Only losing 1 there. Could have been a little bit worse. But he finds himself economically behind against Time once again. If this was going to the long game, that would be a problem. MacSed has shown in this series that's not happening. And Time, he's moving out to push. This is like MacSed, he's got a big army. He's gone back to probing a little bit. I feel like he's got to do nothing but make units right now, because that is a big army. If he can crush this push, it's going to be hard for Time to defend his 3rd base from the counterattack.
His Templar Archive just finished, so he's trying to make an Archon here. Hasn't had time to get Storm or anything, so just working with whatever he's got on the field, trying to get some more warp-ins happening here. Mines leading the charges. Time comes forward to this 3rd base. He's going to try and get Burrow on there. Ooh. Cyclone's locking on. Oh, those Zealots close the distance so fast, though. Tank gets lifted. Is there still enough here for Time?
Yeah, I don't know. There's another Archon coming in, but the Widowmine's not getting the shots off was pretty huge. Phoenix does go down there. I think it's good enough for Time. He's just going to hang out there for a little bit longer. His 3rd base is going up. And this is a situation where the scary moment is past, where MacSed being down on economy but having a big army. I wouldn't be committing in here. Time kind of wild here, trying to use that micro ability of the Stim Bio. Does pick off some of those units, has to pick up and pull back now. But the thing is, he's up 20 army supply, equal in workers. He's going to add more barracks, extra upgrades. And I really love this shift in his style this game, where he says, oh, I know you're playing Zealot Archon. Just non-stop mines, bio, just keep pumping these units out. And I mean, MacSed has no upgrades. He's been even on economy all game. This has always been a Zealot Archon Phoenix kind of defensive all-in. The moment the first fight was even, oh god, that's a disaster. Yeah, the moment the first fight was even, he was in a really bad spot, and now it's like desperately trying to kill him, but the Widow Mines just keep getting big hits.
Mine's the real MVP here, folks. Oh, that was a brutal hit. And that one Archon is very spongy too. It's only got the slightest amount of shields left on it. And MacSed is just sitting here for the moment, still making probes behind this, trying to get a forge. But looking at time, I mean, he's now sliding in Liberators into the mix. That +1 armor's almost finished as well. And as you said, continuing that biomine production, which is what you've been calling for in this series. Like, come on, man, this seems to be the way forward. And we're definitely seeing that now. Storm is on the way for MacSed, but he's going to aim for a little bit of harassment while we wait for that to come up.
Well, it's going to try and buy some time with this, and the bio is pretty far out of position in the third base, so it's going to be a nice Zealot drop to start. Zealot's very high DPS unit time, a few seconds slow on the pull as well, so 7 SCVs going down in the blink of an eye. The Zealot's very cheap units. You do not want to lose the Prism though, and since it's now being spotted yet, you don't want to hide in the back corner where a Liberator can take you out. You want to just fly away. Liberator can chase you down, and it'll take about 16 minutes to kill you. Wait, there's 2 Liberators. 8 minutes. 8 minutes if they go together.
Quick maps. Very nice. Well, Time has once again formulated a rather chunky force, and he's going to wrestle control of that Watchtower. Stalker hightails it out of there and joins its friends for another defense here at the third base. The Mines burrow. The Zealots do get out of the way. Only a couple triggers, so not too bad there.
I mean, this is a terrible army for MacSed. And now the bio spread. I don't know. Can he do it? The storms. Oh, not landing the big storms that he wanted. The Widow Mines and Libs are slaying. The spread on the bio was huge. There's a big Zealot warp in, so I think Time might have to back off. But he's already traded so well here. You could just see his supply getting further and further ahead. Remember, this is only a part of his army, as most of his rally is at home. Meanwhile, this is everything MacSed has. And MacSed blows all of his splash damage, a lot of his tech units, all of his Zealots are gone. Ooh, Time a little over aggressive there with orange and red hit point bio. mate, chill out.
Here we go. The friends have joined in, and this is now a fairly beefy Bioforce once again. He's moving forward, targeting the Archons, knows that it's too much for MacSed to handle, and GG. Time ties it up. We are going to a map number 5.
That was a genius build order from MacSed. I mean, that was, honestly, he literally put Time right where he wanted him. Unfortunately, he wasn't quite able to convert on it, and that's how it happens. I mean, there's so many things going on. This is not the sort of build order you've practiced many times, because there's so many little details that are different every single time you practice it. You're like, oh yeah, it's my fake proxy Void Ray where I only build one Void Ray, and then I expand, and then I go Phoenix, and then when they come out to clear the Stargate, I try to catch them, and you can see this is where it went wrong. 2 Phoenix going down before the fight even started. You can imagine if he just pulled way back there, got 3 Stalker warp-ins, goes in all at once, he crushes that fight, and it's like such a different game. Because Time has no map vision from then on. He loses all his units. He maybe even gets pushed into his natural by the Gateway Phoenix push. He might just lose to the Phoenix Gateway push. Instead, MacSed found himself being forced to kind of an awkward 3-base Zealot charge lot style. It's a really good army if your opponent kind of overcommits, especially if they're on, say, siege tank production. But Time got the scouting. He kept sending like the Reaper across early to see the expansion. Later it was SCVs and random Marines walking over. And he just played very well. Biomine, the Widow Mines, the real MVPs, as you call them. And just really worked it, you know, the magic with the stutter step. There's nothing in this army that can really deal with well microed bio.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. I mean, Max is not out of it yet. He's still putting up a hell of a fight. Like, he's clearly prepared so well for this match, and I feel like I'm going to have to reassess in future how I feel about MacSed when we do predictions, because this is definitely, like, he's evolved. He's leveled up a little bit here to come up against the hardest opponent in the region, when usually we see him in a lot of PvPs, and he does quite well there, to be honest, but yeah, I mean, he could still take Time out here, and with the way it's going, I wouldn't be surprised to see another brilliantly chosen build. He seems to be reading Time fairly well. The difference is Time is not making as many mistakes. That's what it comes down to. MacSed's doing these little things that are making him get in his own way, and then Time runs away with it.
Indeed. I think at this point of the series, there's almost part of me that's like, I wonder if Time just gets frustrated and proxy 2-axes and does like a marine bunker rush. Because he's like, you're doing too much cheeky stuff, dude. This is like, this is way too dicey. I'm just going to like give you a taste of your own medicine. Because it's often in this sort of series where one guy's being really cheeky and mind gaming and tricking the other guy the whole time. It's usually that player that gets very surprised when the tables are turned on them.
That's true. And I think I mentioned earlier, I haven't seen Time outright cheese in a while. I think the cheekiest thing I saw him do in memory, probably like last couple of seasons, 2 or 3. I have a poor StarCraft memory, folks. I apologize, but he did one of those like little concussive shell marauders, and yeah, that might be another spicy option. But let's see. We are on Romanticide for our 5th and final map, and once again, in the top left, in the blue from Kaisi Gaming, it's Time.
His opponent in the bottom right-hand side of the map, looking fantastic thus far in this series. It is MacSed. Repping Invictus Gaming well so far, really looking amazing.
Yeah, I do think that this is how MacSed has managed to stay relevant in this scene for so long too. Just, he can still keep it fresh. He can still prepare really well. He's obviously always at a reasonably high level of play. And, you know, here he is again, playoffs, and putting up a surprisingly good fight against Time, who, what was it, 6% win rate? Like, if you
6% win rate in Legacy of the Void series, like, what?
Yeah, like you look at this series, you would never guess that that's his win rate against Time.
Not at all. I mean, he's looked great so far, and I wonder if there's going to be any really big change-ups. I mean, it is Nexus before Cybercore up against a Reaper expand and a very late scout from Time. So Time is pretty confident game 5 to just go, yeah, nah, it's cool. Like, I can survive anything with a Reaper expand. Tell you what, his build order, like, if he was getting 12 pile and Void Ray Rushed, I'm not saying it's the best map for it, but it is potentially something that could just kill him.
Yeah. I feel like it's a good choice against Time. He does scout late, if at all. So, you know, maybe we'll see Protoss throw that at him later. There is another one in the bracket.
Twilight Council in the wall. Yes, I am building a Twilight Council. What are you going to do about it, mate? Stalker is going to come out and, of course, push back that Reaper. Stalker, of course, very good for controlling and really just shutting out the Reaper early on. It's also a heavier gas unit, so it kind of makes your opponent think, oh, yeah, you're definitely just going straight blink. So I kind of like it when someone goes Stalker and then just builds a DT Shrine, you know, because it's just like a little thing to kind of make the person assume you're playing blink, and then you go in the other direction. Same thing where sometimes if you open 2 Adepts and pressure with them, people are thinking Stargate, DTs, this sort of thing. You're like, oh no, I'm just going 4-gate blink, just after 2 Adepts. You know, it's just little bits of misinformation that get thrown out. For now, an Adept will go out for a bit of scouting. Adept in the grass ambushes it and then realizes, wait, this is not a good fight for me.
Got a juke and jive here to stay alive.
Should be a kill there. Oh, yeah.
Got him. And Time has zipped straight up that tech tree. He's got the starport finished just then. Mines coming out here as well. So another little bit of a dropperino here to open things up. Very standard Terran. And the door is shut against that Adept Shade.
Robo and 3 gateways on the way. Going to be fantastic to go up into that controlling style that MacSed's shown a lot of strength with. Just, you know, 4 gateways and blink stalkers, the ability to pounce on you. However, did point out the weakness of it earlier in this series is that he doesn't really build a great economy. He's kind of been even or behind on economy basically from the first point of contact in almost this entire series. It's MacSed's ability to pounce on units, kill them, and then capitalize across the map. That's where Time's got in trouble. So It's just a 2 Widow Mine drop. It's a very light pressure. And is that probe going to see it on the top side? Oh, or it's even in the depth, actually. I think it just barely misses it.
Yeah. Oh, unlucky. Right thinking, but just got to go a little bit further in with that patrol pass. So let's see if these mines have any success here. Where is he going to drop? Is he going to go for the nat, or is he going to go straight into the main? Oh, no.
Oh! Okay, they both get out. Does pull the probes, though. Yeah, good quick response there from MacSed. And losing a probe and almost no mining time, I mean, that is fantastic. Once again, a great hold here. And MacSed, I mean, it's been a pattern of this series is don't try to do anything to him in the early game. You know, just defend, survive. He doesn't have a bunker, but he's got a second tank super early. So, like, he's actually gearing up for his own aggressive push. That's why Time's not really worried right now. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm the one who's going to be attacking you in, like, 1 minute from now. But that's a lot of Stalkers, and Stalkers are much better than unupgraded Marines. So he's got to be real careful. Yeah, notice he's pulling that tank back. He's trying to build a bunker right now that is going to be covered by the siege tank. There's a siege tank in the main as well sieged up. But this is still a scary moment. That's a lot of Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, and he may dive straight on top of that tank. The bio isn't here to defend it. The SCVs come forward. Oh, he gets the Warp Prism.
That is a quick stim, and that is a crazy amount of damage you've got to deal with. The SCVs doing a great job of tanking. You don't want to be focus firing the Marines with all your Stalkers because it's massive overkill either way. I mean, it's a massive amount of damage done to both sides. MacSed's army gets cleared down to just 5 Stalkers, no Warp Prism, no reinforcement point. But he kills 12 SCVs, a siege tank, and 16 Marines. I would argue MacSed can just take a third and go to the next step from here and be completely okay with that. The problem is he's not. He's warping in Stalkers, rallying them across the map. He's got a new Warp Prism. He's going to go for round 2. And having only killed 1 siege tank, non-stop tank production from Time, now having a bunker up. I mean, he's not repairing the bunker, which is a little bit dangerous. But I think he's got enough siege tanks to be okay. The main base looking a little open right now.
Yeah, that observer will see that there's no tanks there too, because the fresh one just rallied downstairs.
Oh my god, he's going out for his push. Time here is just assuming that MacSed's going to be the defender. He's just assuming MacSed's on the defense. MacSed is going to punish this big. He's going to get rid of shields as well as concussive. Oh, those are huge snipes.
Time is sprinting back into his main, but MacSed could just blink on out of there. And he's actually continuing to warp in. He's got such a chunky number of Stalkers here. He's going to try and attack into this. The tanks are here. Clears 1. Can he get the second? He does after a few more shots. It looks like these Stalkers are getting mowed down, though. However, has the damage been done?
That is Stim Pack. I think this was a disastrous choice from MacSed. As I said, he has him pinned back on 2 bases. Time is committing to his own super committed attack. Right now, I think if he just backed off and went for charge, he could be okay. And this is a great Stalker drop. Time has taken huge damage, don't get me wrong, but he's rebuilding his shields right now. He's still got a big amount of production, and Time's realizing, wait a second, you've just thrown your army away. Maybe I can go kill you, but you know what? I can also just take a 3rd command center and probably counterattack and kill you as well while going to the next step. Time is now miles ahead. So many Stalkers going down. That unit's loss tab just tells you, you cannot be blinking into Stim Bio.
Yeah, my goodness. What a slugfest early on here, and Time is actually moving out. These Stalkers are going to harass again. Love the addition of that missile turret to, 1, help with the Warp Prism, but 2, just in case DTs would be the follow-up. That's not the worst thing to have. And he's just going to use whatever units he has available to deflect those Stalkers as he tries to find an angle to attack here into the 3rd base. Charge isn't done yet. It's only halfway. No splash here either, but there's a tank on the front line for Time, and he's going to use that to fall back to.
Ooh, Bio stimming in towards that 3rd base. Widow Mines are going to burrow. It's just Zealots and Stalkers. The Zealots don't even have charge. Blink Stalkers better make some damn magic happen. And you know what? They can't because there's no shield battery. Blink Stalker magic alone will not get the job done. And MacSed with a fantastic series.